Dominik Szoboszlai is a special player. Not only has he come in ripping up the Premier League, he also has a very complicated name to say, which I found out the hard way after hundreds of comments of me getting it wrong. But anyway, Szoboszlai has come into the Premier League and been one of the best players this season and up there for one of the best signings of the season already. But just how is he making this Liverpool team better per game, and just what is his impact on this team? To find out these answers, please continue to watch this video and please like and subscribe for any more content on any more players you desire. It's safe to say that Dominik Szoboszlai had a lot to live up to joining Liverpool this summer. He became Liverpool's most expensive midfielder in their history, signing for £60 million from RB Leipzig, and he did have a very impressive spell in Germany, and Liverpool definitely needed a player of his quality. Szoboszlai mostly operates in the attacking midfield role, but play anywhere really in that midfield three for Liverpool. Liverpool needed a real good attacking midfielder after they'd struggled to find one in the recent years since Coutinho had left. For many years, Liverpool had found a lot of success, so this really weren't a big issue, but just how Premier League football has been shifting recently, attacking midfields are very vital when trying to transition your team up the pitch. And arguably the three best Premier League teams this season, Tottenham, Arsenal and Manchester City, have top attacking midfielders in De Bruyne, Odegaard and James Maddison. So Liverpool needed their own superstar in their own ranks. Now when this signing was made, I was very optimistic for Liverpool. I actually thought this was one of the best signings of the transfer window, and I felt like it had kind of gone underrated by a lot of fans, mostly because it happened quite early in the window. And it's been clear to me that starting this season that Liverpool have been very good going forward and they have still struggled in defence, but Szoboszlai is a real key part of this team. I'd say he's probably the second or third best player behind really Alisson and Salah, maybe Van Dijk as well. Now Liverpool bought Szoboszlai in because of his wide versatility in midfield. He was mostly a 10 but can also play as an 8 at a very high ability, which helps Liverpool with their tactical discipline and their different plays they play in midfield, especially considering they need to rebuild the whole midfield. And with Liverpool losing a lot of their key really midfield passes in that team, they needed someone to progress the ball up and try and get the ball up the field, and he is very good at progressing the ball forward and stands out whether it's one-on-one in incisive through balls as well. And at Leipzig, it was very often that he'd create many chances when he spots teammates early and does his movements early so he can break the lines with long vertical passes. But he's also capable of more delicate passes to assist directly or in play field. And at Leipzig, Szoboszlai actually played against a deep block a lot, and this is very something that Liverpool would have looked at and really wanted to get him in, because Liverpool obviously have to play against a lot of deep blocks as they are a very attacking team, and a lot of teams are just simply just going to try and defend against them. And Szoboszlai himself is actually a very front-footed player. He loves to make front-footed passes and never really wants to go sideways or behind. He always tries to look for that ball forward, which is very good against a deeper block. And his technical ability really helps this as well, as he can disguise outside the foot balls and inside the foot balls, as he loves using that Trivela pass. And of course, the main thing that everyone really knows him for at Leipzig, he was a massive goal threat from attacking midfield, and he's got a brilliant knuckleball shot that he scored so many worldies for Leipzig, and he's already done quite a bit for that for Liverpool this season. I mean, that goal in the EFL Cup is insane. And this was all while operating between the lines. That's just a little bit of what we expected Szoboszlai to be like, as he was like that at Leipzig, and what sort of player Liverpool brought in. But under Jurgen Klopp, he has really evolved, and I want to talk about that now. So while at Leipzig, every single year he kind of played a bit of a different role while playing in the same position. So in 2022-2023 for Leipzig, he played in the right half space between the lines, as you can see in the screenshot. However, in the season before, in 21-22, he often really used on the left side between the lines, you know, sort of picking up the positions where they needed that sort of space. But at Liverpool, you can see he's become a much more complete player already in a small sample size, as his role changed into a more fluid and more well-rounded player. He still operates in the right half space between the lines, but his touches are more evenly distributed, and his contributions in his own half, most notably in the middle of the park, are higher. This shows much more impact on the actual game itself in many different positions, and in this season per night he's had 78 touches per game, and in for Leipzig it's 65 per 90 and just 40 per 90 the season before. So there is a clear difference on how much he's actually getting on the ball. When Szoboszlai first joined Liverpool as well, it seems obvious that he would fit directly into the right side of 10 role as part of their new look 3-2-5 system, with Trent being inverted, which we saw against Arsenal in the second half in the 2-2 draw last season. However, this has not happened, as Klopp has changed the dynamics, and instead of Trent inverting in the first place, which saw Liverpool start in a 3-2-5 shape, Liverpool build in a 4-2-4 from goal kicks and then transition into a 3-2-5 in settled play. So in the first phase, Trent starts at fullback and Szoboszlai drops into a double pivot. And despite Szoboszlai playing as an 8 a lot under Leipzig, this is very deep for him just personally, and he's never really been this deep in his career. And this can seem as a bit of a strange dynamic for Liverpool to have in midfielders, because usually they have Szoboszlai deep from progressive play, and Jones is usually very much high up the pitch, being the other 8 in the team. Now this on the face of it seems a bit illogical, because Curtis Jones is a ball retention specialist who primarily operates in the first and second phase, whilst Szoboszlai has traditionally been a player who works between the lines and offers reliable output. However, Liverpool have another secret weapon helping Szoboszlai midfield, and that's Alexis McAllister, who is also criminally criminally underrated, I must say. In this midfield 3 setup, McAllister operates as the number 6, and this makes the dynamic make a lot more sense. McAllister often played as a double pivot in Brighton's setup before De Zerbi last season, and often played on the left-hand side of the two midfielders. And now the reasons that Klopp makes Szoboszlai come deeper makes a lot more sense, because McAllister is obviously going to be in that double pivot. He was very good at Brighton in it, but he was often used on that left side. Now he is very familiarity with that left side and wants to probably stay there, as he has probably better angles, and it makes more sense for him to just be there more than the right side. This means if Jones drops deep for Liverpool rather than Szoboszlai dropping deep, he would have to be on that left side of number 8, because that's his side of the pitch where he plays, and McAllister would have to shift over to the right side where he doesn't really suit him, and he's never really played in a right side of a double pivot, so he'd quite struggle. And Szoboszlai is used to playing on that right side, as we saw his hate maps from before, so he would rather come back and do that, even though he doesn't really come back before, but he can learn to develop that Klopp has been trying. This could also be a decision by Klopp, because it is argued that he would want Curtis Jones high because he is more likely to make the ball stick between the lines thanks to his press resistance. Szoboszlai may be technically secure and press resistant too, but he is more direct profile in nature that would likely try to find the likes of Salah, Diaz and Nunez in transition more often than not, where Curtis Jones is probably a bit more safer with the ball. And there has been a lot of developments with this system from Liverpool this year, because Curtis Jones was suspended with a red card against Spurs, so Klopp couldn't really play him obviously against Brighton in their game at the Amex. This saw Liverpool set up with a midfield 3 of McAllister, Szoboszlai and Harvey Elliott coming in for Curtis Jones. And Liverpool went about this game in a very different way. They still started with their build of 4-2-4, with Szoboszlai this time being on the left of the pivot, McAllister being on the right of the pivot and Elliott being high in between the lines as part of the front 4. This means Szoboszlai started in the left number 8 role, with Elliott being in a more aggressive position number 10 role and on the right hand side of the midfield 3. But instead of Elliott dropping into the pivot into the first phase, it was the Hungarian. Now this could be seen as quite of a weird decision, because Harvey Elliott is known as a workhorse and Szoboszlai is probably much more better going forward than Elliott. But this could be down to Elliott's limited angles as a left foot on the right hand side of a double pivot, and the fact that Dominik Szoboszlai has been brilliant at going back and being deeper for Klopp since he joined, so Klopp probably trusts him to do that role a lot more. And this is just testament of how good Szoboszlai has been. They've played him in a completely new role where he's never played before, in a league that he's never played before, in which is probably the best league in the world, for one of the best teams in the country, and Szoboszlai has been so good in his role that Klopp trusts him to play on the left side or right side of the double pivot over players like Gravenberch, who are much more suitable for that position. And another reason why Szoboszlai has been so good is his adaptability in games. Klopp obviously loves changing his team around in game, because you know he's such a top quality coach and this is what they all do, but Klopp often in some games has shifted Jones to the right side of number 10 and Szoboszlai to the left side number 8, where he heavily contributes to build up play and settle play. From these zones, Szoboszlai can dictate attacks from deep, and he has demonstrated a phenomenal balance of using his elite passing quality to break lines and to circulate play along with unstoppable balls, striking to play final balls or shoot from range. Honestly, Szoboszlai is his own player rightfully, but he is such a mix of so many modern day greats. I'd see a lot of Paul Pogba in him with a tactically disciplined Pogba, and he's a very worthy heir to Steven Gerrard with his long range efforts as well. And he's also become a fan favourite from the Liverpool fans, and just an example of this, of something that I think would be amazing as a fan to watch this, is the fact that Liverpool had 9 men in the 85th minute against Tottenham. Obviously the game didn't end very well in the end, they got very unlucky, but if you look at this clip here, Szoboszlai is pressing so hard by himself in the 85th minute with 9 men. This just shows how much dedication, how much hard work he puts in for the team. And for Liverpool, you can see if you combine that work ethic with his mobility, then it becomes clear why he's so special. It means he can make runs in behind the opposition defence, beat his man for pace in offensive or defensive duels, and roam across the park, effectively to exert his on-the-ball quality and subsequent influence of the game. And despite having all these brilliant technical abilities and clear drive to be the best player in the world, Szoboszlai is also a brilliant leader and has helped Liverpool so much, helping the team in very tough situations, and this should be no surprise as he was named captain of Hungary at the age of just 22. And honestly, Szoboszlai can just win games by himself, and I think personally it does give Liverpool a chance to win this title, even if it's an outside chance, because Szoboszlai is a much bigger upgrade on any of their midfields they had last season. Let me know how good you think Szoboszlai is in the comments, and let me know what other players you want to see me talk about, any players that have been very good in your eyes and not getting enough credit. And finally, thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe and share this with your friends.